Las Vegas Discount.net's the best there is. Save up to 50% on your next Vegas trip. And travel, rental, shows, and tours. Find the deals you're looking for. Las Vegas Discount.net. Las Vegas Discount.net. If you're going to Vegas for deals that are the best, visit Las Vegas Discount.net.
FightNetRadio.com with Andrew and Lee, talking boxing, combat, sports, comedy, football, and everything kick-ass. All on FightNetRadio.com. Fight Net Radio!
Hola, soy Julio César Chávez.
And lights out, baby. Lights out all day.
This is Sugar Ray Leonard, and you listen to Fight Net Radio.
I mean, this is ridiculous. It's a radio show. It ain't a one-hour television spectacular.
Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
We gon' know. I got eyes and ears everywhere. I got friends all over the world, man.
Who gives a shit with White? He's a piece of crap.
G'day, Fight Net Radio fans. It's almost fight night in Las Vegas, and this is Fight Net Radio's Wonder from Down Under. The Southern Hemisphere and European Sweet Science correspondent Sam Navajiro from the Exceptional People podcast. I've been given the pleasure to give you a preview of a couple of upcoming bouts this weekend. First up, from the O2 Arena in London, England, in the It's All on the Line again for Dillian Whyte Fight Night, shown live on Sky Sports Box Office in the UK and proudly streamed by DAZN. In the main event of the evening, heavyweight action, where the undefeated, Montreal-based, Colombian-born, IBF International, NABF and WBO's NABO heavyweight champion 26-0 Oscar Kaboom Rivas takes on Jamaican-born Englishman and six-time reigning, defending WBC silver heavyweight champion of the world, Dillian the Body Snatcher Whyte, for the vacant interim WBC cubic zirconia with a couple of copper bits world heavyweight title belts. If England's Dillian, always the bridesmaid, never the bride, Whyte, who mind you is on a 9-fight winning streak, is successful, he will be crowned the mandatory challenger again and promised a shot again at the reigning champ and Kelly King's favourite fighter, the undefeated WBC heavyweight champion of the world, Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder. A sellout crowd is expected at London's O2 Arena, but nobody expects Dillian the bridesmaid Whyte, if he wins, will ever get a shot at Deontay Wilder's WBC heavyweight title. News just to hand, Fight Net Radio boss Lee Honish has vowed to break the restraining order imposed on him by the Jesse Vargas camp and have Jesse Vargas review his Instagram for the FNR listeners when he accosts his man crush and former two-weight division world champion at the Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame on Friday night. And finally, before I hand you to Fight Net Radio's Lee Honish, Andrew Lopachet and Bobby Capuccio, with their Steven Espinoza calculator at the ready for their guaranteed prop bets that will pay for your weekend, your steak and a hookah, my quick preview for the Pacquiao versus Thurman fight. In the words of FNR's favourite fight announcer, the man they call the Latin Snake, Sergio Mora, I have done my homework on this fight, Andrew Lopachet. Keith, one-time flute-playing Thurman, has no chance. Pac-Man in 6. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it from me, as the FNR team via satellite are on standby with their coffee and cocktails and hookers and blow bunkered down from either the Bellagio or the Bunny Ranch in Las Vegas, where the internet signal is best for the Pacquiao-Thurman weekend. This is Sam Navajiro, Fight Net Radio's Southern Hemisphere and European Sweet Science correspondent and #1 casual fan. For more of my gold, look for my Exceptional People podcast on iTunes or visit exceptionalpeople.com.au for past episodes. Bye for now.
Hi everybody, welcome to Fight Net Radio. Lee Honish, Bobby Capucci. We are here, we're just moments away from the final weigh-in, which is going to have no bearing on this, which is why we're recording it right now. Literally short of Manny Pacquiao walking out there and dropping dead from cutting weight. I don't know why everybody thinks there's a bearing on betting prior. Like, the weigh-in's going to make the difference. No, they made weight. That's it.
Yeah, very rarely is that a big deal on fight time. Every now and then, like with the last UFC, you see Aspen Ladd, she was in bad shape. Right. She ended up losing really quickly. When you're in that kind of shape, forget it. But a guy like Pacquiao, all these years doing it.
Thurman and Pacquiao are both going to be right on the way.
Yeah, these are professionals, champions. Right. This isn't some garbage card. You know, this is a high-profile fight, a big-time fight, and it's going to be exciting. You know, I think that Vegas is the perfect home for a fight like this, obviously. Big weekend in Vegas. You got both of these guys looking to hop up that ladder a little bit. Pacquiao looking for that last big money fight, right? Like we were discussing earlier, and we'll discuss here.
We're talking about Mayweather, kids.
So, you know, he wants that one last fight, the big, you know, not only just money fight, but legacy fight. If he could find a way to pull it out, obviously, you know, but if he could find a way to pull that out, imagine what that does for his legacy, and then sets up maybe a third.
So assuming this is a legit fight and not Mayweather step-aside money, as pointed out on Fight Net Radio, kids, which I think might come into play. It's not shocking in the world of boxing to go, you're not putting in your full effort, don't bury yourself, go 12 with this guy, which I suspect is more accurate than anything else, right? We go back to De La Hoya versus Bernard Hopkins. They create a partnership, and he takes a body shot that he's doing the most acting ever seen in a fight. Now, he's his own business, and I'm sure that there's a moment of, it's a tough dude I'm fighting, and now I got a business deal with him.
Yep.
It's in my best interest to call it a day.
Yeah, and you know, for me, from my perspective, as such a fan of all sorts of pugilism, be it,
you want to believe that nothing is ever
exactly. I want to believe that there's just the two best guys in the division are going to get in the ring. They're going to mix it up. Somebody's going to land more shots than the other guy. Either somebody goes to sleep or they lose the decision.
But as a bookie.
As a bookie,
right? You've seen draw lines drop right before a draw fight
so many times. You know, people get this concept that, you know, the favorite is the guy that the book thinks is going to win, and that's not always the case. Sometimes we, as in the book, we just want to entice money on both sides, and we're trying to hold a percentage.
It's just about making money.
It's like everything else, like trading stock or flipping real estate. We want to hold a percentage, and if we can guarantee that percentage, we don't care one way or the other. So what happens is when we expose ourselves and we get a little overzealous in the risk room and we make a line that doesn't fit correctly for what's going on. So when you have that sort of line, you have really sharp people nowadays that'll jump all over you. And then it'll adjust itself.
And then 5 minutes before the fight, suddenly a blue hair, the draw just drops from 1,800 to 1 to 900.
Exactly. Because you have people, just like with anything else, say like horse racing, they'll wait until the very last minute to make their wager. People are going back and forth. Some people are superstitious. You just, as a bookmaker, all you can do is keep that line open for as long as possible. And even during football season, I would keep the line open even a little bit longer because you always have that first commercial before they kick off. So I would try and, to the very end, to maximize my profit. We all know what happens. I'm going to hold it.
And the reason I bring all that up, people have inside information.
Of course.
And the guys who do are not going to bet it. Because whether or not you want to believe this, if you guys think this is legit, and he's a Rangers fan and a Golden Knights fan, at the end of the day, the only reason we have sports is because there are people betting on those sports.
Well, the proof is in the pudding. It's $1 billion industry. It's right there with pornography as far as how much money it brings in. I mean, basically the only other business that brings in this much money is Hollywood.
Right.
You know, when you think about it.
Oh, nobody knew that goalie was going to be out. You're wrong. Right. Coach knew, the general manager knew. And while they were on the phone, somebody walked into the room and heard it. Somebody turned around and dropped it.
The player manager knew. His agent knows. A lot goes into it. And then you'll see what happens is at the sportsbook, they're very controlled of the market. The second they get wind of somebody not playing, boom, they'll close the line. They'll shut it down so they can figure it out and get they want the upper hand. They're never going to give you the upper hand. So it's just like that in these fights. You always got to remember that even though the guy's the favorite, that doesn't always mean that he's going to be the guy that wins, as we've seen time and time again.
So remember all that when we're about to discuss this. Why do I keep looking on the left when I pointed at across the left? All right. So we are talking about Pacquiao Thurman. That's the only bet. That's the only fight. Caleb Plant's ridiculous lopsided favorite in his fight. So it's not even worth having that discussion. I've got a prop sheet up on this video for you to look at. It's from the Station Casino. Not going to be any different than the numbers we're talking about from the other casinos. So let's start off. They put Manny as the dog immediately to start the money running on. When you've got a pick 'em fight out of the gate, right? A guy who's taking a year of inactivity, 2 years of inactivity, on the surface should be the dog on a guy who's on consecutive wins. But in this case, they played it smart. They put Manny as the dog right out of the gate, but not by much. By about a quarter, 15 maybe max. And now here we are. We're 24 hours from the fight, a few minutes from the weigh-in, $1.50. Minus $1.50.
Yep. Up to minus 160 now on the board.
On
here
the
at
boards,
CG.
and I've seen it online at that number.
Shop that number. Don't, make sure if you're going to bet it, make sure you shop it because you can find it 5 cents cheaper for sure elsewhere.
I said this on the show, this strictly is a Filipino bet. It's just people betting on their favorite.
What this was, from a bookmaker's perspective, is they know the money's going to pour in on Pacquiao. So what they did was, they enticed. Get all that early money in on Pacquiao, so now they're not exposed on the other side. So when they adjust that number, they're still going to have their hold.
They wanted the betting, they wanted the action, instead of coming out to probably what the accurate odds would be based on what I can tell from if this were real, it's probably minus 200.
Yeah,
coming
for
into
sure.
this. Maybe minus 250.
That's what I would have the number right around there.
Yeah, you'd start them at 3-1 and see the lack of betting and then move it back.
Of course, you can always adjust it. You always want to, as a bookmaker now, you always want to be on the safe side. You don't want to be overexposed like I've been talking about with any of your wagers.
Right. You use touch and feel. I'm dropping a name. I'm a Novello guy. Right. That's the guy who taught me. So I go the other way. Started 3-1. Let's see how much they bet.
Yeah.
And then back it down till we hit that sweet spot of everybody's in.
Yeah. See, I come from when I was making numbers and when I was working risk and that kind of stuff. I come from a time where we're very reliant on algorithms and computers as well. So it wasn't just like a gut feeling like it used to be in these risk rooms. And it's not just a one-man decision. You'd come up with a number. Say you were in charge of making MMA lines. You'd come up with a number, and then your colleagues would jump in on that, and you guys would have a discussion, and then you'd hang a number. And that's in a house that actually makes their own their own numbers. Because some places, like we were talking about, poaches a number from elsewhere and just hangs it. Because they a lot of places are scared to truly bookmake anymore. Like even at William Hill, for instance, you can't bet the undercard of a UFC and parlay it anymore.
Yeah,
because they were getting waxed.
You can't outbox it anymore. Yeah. The only way I was making money at Mayweather at the end was parlaying to a part, maybe a 3 to get to even.
Right.
I know I just talked real technical, but it made sense over here. So to get Mayweather fights at close to even because he was such a lopsided dog, I would take the 5 favorites in 2 or 3 fights, which then adjust so that I've got an even money bet, or at least closer.
Or make it down to
maybe 90%.
Or maybe a minus 140 or something. Something that's more palpable and there's more of a shot at you actually hitting something.
So if Manny is in real essence, a 3-1 or a 4-1. I'm not going to be surprised by tomorrow night if he's up to minus.
Oh, for sure. As we get closer to the fight, and more of his fans.
Fight day will be 2 to 3. He'll be in the 2 to 3s.
And I would think that the MGM will have the highest number on him because of where the fight is being held and where the wages are coming in. But look for other places to piggyback on that as well, because obviously, once again, if they have a 30-cent discrepancy, they're going to be overexposed if everyone's coming in and pounding. So
Westgate's going to probably have the best line to follow, and I'm going to tell you why. It seems to, because it's a half-time share, half hotel now, has a large Filipino population. I'm telling you, if that place books up and they see nothing but wall-to-wall, and Westgate sets,
and they don't bookmake scared. Westgate, like we were talking about before we came on the show.
If they see 4,000 rooms of Filipinos who come into town who are all standing in long lines, they're going to be the first ones to adjust that number.
A good friend of mine and colleague who's in the industry is over at Westgate, where he originally went to CG, went back, but kids sharp, and they are not scared to take wagers at the Westgate at all.
Ever. Never have been. It's the same crew, even though it's Westgate now. And the reason I say that, Westgate is crackable on OddsShark. Keep an eye on that line if you're getting serious about betting this fight. I'd watch MGM as my first setter of here's
location.
Right, the location and the bet fight. And my last, so let's say you're on Bovada or you're an international guy. I'm going to look at those two numbers, of course, right? And those are going to, somewhere in the middle is probably closest to the truth. And if I can grab Bovada in the middle, I'm going to take Bovada all day.
And now here's another resource that a lot of people haven't been tapping into because it's been a gray area for so long. Now you have local shops now that are online.
Right.
So you can find a better number sometimes in these smaller markets because these odds makers are looking to hold your money. They want to build their business.
Right.
So by that, they'll take different wages that other people won't, and maybe they won't move their number as much. So whereas before you could maybe do it, but it's kind of gray area, so people don't want to take the chance of getting in trouble. But now you can make that move, and you're not going to get nailed by the feds anymore. So make sure that that's a market that you guys approach and look into before you make a big wager. Always do that.
All right. Lastly, before we break down, really, there's only a couple of bets here. I have often said that you can see things in the props. The wagering line is the popular vote. The prop bets are probably closer to the truth of what's going to happen in this fight. How accurate is that?
Well, it really just depends. Like, the props are... They put so many props on these sheets because it's a big hole for the book. It's very hard to pick exactly what rounds someone's...
Well, if I'm looking at 12 rounds and suddenly rounds 3, 4, and 5 drop to 5-1 when everything is carrying at 20-1 or 100-1. Okay, so they've done this based on their math and their research of this individual. These are the rounds. As a casual fan, you have to examine those numbers and be aware of them.
Of course. And it's a lot more fun, too. Say you don't have, really a strong opinion on the fight. And you still, say you decided you wanted to wager $100 on the fight itself. Well, now you can do 5 props at $20 per set. Or, maybe you want to do one prop at 50 and one at 50. But that's, for the props, that's what they do. They're mainly more for the casual fan, whereas the actual fight is more for the sharp and serious.
Same people who bet on hot bets or bet on prop bets.
Exactly right. Same guys.
That was way inside.
During the Super Bowl, the guys looking for the prop sheet. They're the same kind of guys. Yeah. They get that excitement from that. All right, well, I got this.
I got the national anthem, which, by the way, has been money every year. Called it again. Never mind. Enough of that. So, we're going to give you the bets. We're giving to you straight from Vegas. Barring anybody passing out in literally 15 minutes, actually about an hour from here. Anybody passing out, nothing's going to change here except the popular vote or whatever. So when you're watching this, take that into account and go, Jordy minus 200. Should have got him when he was the dog.
Yeah, if you're going to bet Pacquiao, I'd bet him very soon. Today.
If you're already watching this going, I haven't put the money on him, I think this is more of assuring the people who've already bet their money, because at this point, it's the only thing that's going to happen is they're using very flaky testing for this fight. Bada-like.
So basically like Japanese MMA testing?
Yeah. And again, I said this on the show, this is nothing I haven't said out of school, but Juicy McJuice Pacquiao showed up in Macau looking like
pretty shredded.
Had some Canelo meat.
A little horse meat?
Yeah. With a side of steroids in it. Allegedly. The reason I point that out, everything seems very loose and free on this fight to give an advantage to Pacquiao, which is what ultimately affects this. The Mayweather money on the other side making another $100 million. The DAZN deals that are hanging out there. The fact that PBC is going to be bought up by Zanfer, Zuffa, whoever they are this week, UFC. That's a done deal. They just can't figure out the contract and who they want to keep. And they're going to let these guys fight out for the year.
Dana said that UFC wants to get into the boxing promotion business. And when he, like the guy or not, and I'm pretty neutral on the man, but when he says he's going to do something as far as business-wise, he does that shit.
He's buying the yes. And anybody who doesn't know that or seen the Zanfer talks that have been going on, you're an idiot. And if you can't see why they haven't put it down while they're making their top guys kind of course, we're going to take only the good contract.
Get it situated correctly, jettison what they don't need, bring in the,
because they're on a per-fight contract at this point with the company. So we're going to take the top 20 guys.
That's right.
And we're going to have our own little top rank.
Yeah, we'll have a little
but we'll play ball with everybody.
Exactly right.
Because Dana plays ball. Dana believes in top fight
Let's make money.
And he knows the money's in it.
100%.
So here we go. Wow, look at the bags under my eyes. I don't feel like I'm in Vegas at all. Manny Pacquiao, Keith Thurman. Manny Pacquiao is now minus 1.5, depending on where you bet him. Over and unders are at 11.5, which means nothing. Really, they might as well accept
Decision at minus 400.
Right. So let's start with the actual money line. Am I even interested at minus 155 at making 80% on my money?
I am. I think that this is a good number, considering we both agree that the number would be probably minus 300. So if I can get that at minus 155, I think it's worth a shot. You know, a little something.
I think to take it all the way till around
200.
Yeah, 200.
That's what I would end. That's like basically splitting the baby.
80% is 80%.
Yeah, exactly right.
And by the way, 80% is a true thing in this business. I don't think I've seen lines on any fight now that are any greater than 4-1. So if you're getting it up to -2, that's pretty close to a mortal loss.
Yeah, it's a pretty good number.
Is there anything in the numbers or your homework that indicate Keith Thurman has been sandbagging this whole time and he's going to show up and be a terror and knock many out in the first round? Any betting, any tips, anything that would indicate it other than a guy who on all videos I've watched looks like he's just sleepwalking through the process?
Does not look as engaged as you would think a guy like this should be.
No.
Because, you know, there was
the numbers don't even indicate it.
There was a lot of buzz with this guy for a long time. Then, you know, the layoffs, the injuries, all of that stuff happens. And then he gets jumped in the division, basically. Now he's the third best champ in the division. I mean, you know, he doesn't have the... Pacquiao at 41 is still the man that's driving this engine. Yep. He's still the caboose, and it should be the other way around.
Yep.
Thurman should be the one that has all the buzz around him, and he should be, you know, but it's not that way, and I don't think we're going to see it that on tomorrow night. I think that Pacquiao's going to do what he wants. He's going to be too aggressive for Thurman, in my opinion. I don't think Thurman's going to be able to handle the I don't want to say fury because, you know, his age, I don't think it's fury anymore, but the tactical approach that Pacquiao now takes in a fight. Right. Very smart now.
So there are 5 outcomes to the fight that could possibly happen. DQ, draw, some kind of horseshit, technical give and finish. Numbers are currently what, at 5,000 to 1 on the draw. What is it?
10 to 1 on a draw.
Yep. That's low. That scares the crap out of me.
Well, that just goes to show you, too, the way that the bookmakers are looking at it. You never know what the judges these days in Las Vegas. You just never know what you're going to get. Are they going to shoot for that draw? And you know how they work. At the end of the day, it's a business for these guys. I know.
That's a bad number. This isn't going well already. Now the 4 outcomes that actually matter. Let's cover Thurman because I know we're going to bet Pacquiao on this. Thurman by KO or Thurman by decision?
Thurman by KO is 6 to 1 right now. So bet 100, win 600.
Well, they don't think it's going to happen.
Not enough value for me.
What's his value on winning by decision?
The decision is 9 to 5.
Okay, so the most hypothetical thing for Thurman to do here is to win by decision.
Right. According to the odds makers, his likely approach to victory, his likely route to victory is a decision.
Which leaves us 2 more: Manny Pacquiao by KO and Manny Pacquiao by decision.
Manny Pacquiao by KO, we got that at 4 to 1. Bet 100, win 400.
We said this last night. We saw it at 350 online when we recorded 2 days ago. If I can get 4 to 1.
Yeah, no, it's definitely worth it on a prop bet. This is a bet that I'm interested in, even though Pacquiao hasn't knocked anybody out forever.
But with the Mayweather thing, and then I'm going to knock him out to go call out Mayweather.
Pacquiao's a pretty smooth guy.
He would literally have to call a shot to get $100 or $200 million, right? You're talking about $500 million fight for the floor. Pacquiao has to knock out.
A lot of guys talk shit during the build-up in Pacquiao fights. He's just whatever. Thurman seems to get under his skin a little bit. There's been a couple times it seems like he's not under his skin. And you get a guy like Pacquiao fired up, and you just never know. Is he going to go back to the old Pacquiao where he's going to get someone in trouble and actually finishes him? It's quite possible. So I think that if you're going to have a prop bet on Pacquiao, I think that's a good route to go.
Which leaves us the final decision. Do I take 7 to 8 on the decision, which is where they think he falls, or 4 to 1 on the KO? If you're going to drop an extra quarter or a C note on something, look, your money's going to be made up here on top. Betting a couple of $100 on a sure thing, under 200, you're getting paid. So why am I not dropping 50 to 100 on?
Yeah. Right. So if you're really sure about, say you're sure about the Pacquiao fight coming in, so what you could do is you bet 160 minus 160 to win 100, right? So now what you do is also put 100 on, say, the knockout. So if you win one bet, you break even.
It's either a draw or it's a...
Or you're getting a little bit of a windfall, $400 or $500 windfall.
Yeah.
So
you guys go.
You know, it really just depends on where your bankroll is. You know,
Well, I think for most people, I joke on the show constantly that it's got to pay for my weekend in Vegas.
Right.
Like all my numbers are about how do I do a complete break even. Manny Pacquiao paid for my fight. If I'm just into it for the thrill, I'm going to hedge my bet.
Right.
It's like playing craps for points.
Yep.
Right? I'm going to hedge my numbers and sit there and wait for you to roll a 7 almost indefinitely. And
you want to increase your chances of winning. That's at the end of the day, that's what we're all doing. We're all trying to increase our chances of winning against the house. The house is trying to increase theirs.
And what freebie can I get out of the deal?
Exactly right. What can I get out of the deal?
If you're into it for straight thrills, I don't see how you get away from 100 here, 100 there.
Right.
Call it a day.
That's it. And then, especially if you don't play slot machines, if you don't have that bug, you know, you come here just betting sports, your wife doesn't even kill you for a couple $100. You know?
You're talking about a $200 seat at the top of the MGM, and I just want some action on it to feel good. You're a guy who's making $50K a year.
Right.
Put 100 on each of these. You will get all the thrills and all the feelings you want.
And if you've never wagered before, there's nothing like having a wager on an event. I don't care if it's 2 cockroaches running across the cafeteria floor. If you have a wager, the excitement is just... it's like being on drugs. The rush is incredibly...
No doubt about it. It's why I come here every year for the Super Bowl.
It's just
people go, why do you go to Vegas for the Super Bowl? Like, really?
Yeah, the serotonin
release.
Super
Bowl in Vegas.
It's insane. It's like, if you can't be at the Super Bowl,
you got to be in Vegas. And it's actually a better deal. There you go. Go bet on the fight. Enjoy the fight. Look at these bags. Terrible video.
FightNetRadio.com with Andrew and Lee, talking boxing, combat, sports, comedy, football, and everything kick-ass. All on FightNetRadio.com. Fight Net!